So it's raining today. Perfect day for a movie, right? So I think I said I was gonna watch Edge of Tomorrow. So that alien coming in on an asteroid, nicely done. I thought that was pretty cool. Have you seen this movie? Tom Cruise has never died so many times. Wow, that was wild. So the whole thing was shot in London, and well, what else do you need to know? Ryan Gosling and Brad Pitt were also considered for the role, but Tom Cruise got it. This whole movie was actually based on a manga or a graphic novel from Japan called All You Need Is Kill, and it came out in 2004, and it's kind of the same as Groundhog Day, right? It didn't have Bill Murray, it had Tom Cruise instead, and Emily Blunt played the Yoda, if you would. She was kind of teaching him how to live, die, and repeat. The title got changed around a few times. It was never All You Need Is Kill, but yeah, when it came out on DVD, the DVD just had Live, Die, Repeat on it, and it ended up saving the entire movie because it didn't really do that well in theaters. So I'm gonna break it down, tell you kind of what I thought was done right and what I thought was kind of dumb. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Wait, let me back up. The fact that this movie was released in the UK, France, and United States on the 70th anniversary of D-Day just shows that they were thinking when it came to putting out this movie and really putting it together. So that's really cool. Tom Cruise plays Cage, and he's quote unquote in the US Army, but he's just, I don't know why they didn't just make him part of a PMC or something, because being part of the actual military actually just kind of degrades the military. He was just a goofball in this, and but it's the future military, so whatever. This is not a distant future movie. If you look at this exoskeleton that Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt are wearing the entire time, that's actually a real exoskeleton. They wore those the entire time they were shooting. Everybody in the movie is actually wearing those exoskeletons. They had a designer come up with them and make them as realistic as possible. The exoskeleton weighed over 80 pounds. Emily Blunt cried the first time she put it on. She was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to wear this for like 5 or 6 months. So she did, and she had a blast. She loved it. Tom Cruise told her to just get over it, you know. Her name, Mockingjay, I mean, the Angel of Verdun, is kind of a shout out to the Angels of Mons, and that's a World War I myth. It was published as fiction, but people started to take it as canon, and they thought that there were real angels on the battlefield. The author tried to reply and say that that wasn't the case, but it sounds like some people took it to heart. So that's where you get the Angels of Mons. The Angels of Mons were in, 1914, which was the first time the British forces faced off against the German forces in World War I. They called her the Angel of Verdun. Verdun, also a World War. Battle of Verdun was from February 21st to December 18th in 1916. It was the most gruesome battle in World War I, and it had over 1.2 million casualties on the German and French sides. It was kind of a call out to some World War history, the European side at least. When she walks out and she hits that guy who says,
It's the full metal.
that's actually her brother, so that's kind of cool. All You Need Is Kill was based on the idea that you have to, work through a video game by, learning everything you can, dying, repeating that session until you get a winning strategy. And that's what they're trying to do in this film. They're trying to, you know, work their way through. They have to repeat it so many times, but they can learn every time, and they learn that and learn how to kill this hive mind. They talk about Operation Downfall in the beginning there. Operation Downfall in US history is actually what they called the invasion of Japan during World War II. That was the plan, at least. They had it, you know, laid out, Operation Downfall, the invasion, but they didn't have to because they dropped. Yeah. The alien in this movie it was just the Matrix. I mean, look at this. It's kind of like a trimmer with a predator with the Matrix all in one, and it was definitely frightening. Tom Cruise, his name is also a shout out. It's a shout out to the All You Need Is Kill. That's how the Americans pronounce the main character of that. So since it's an American movie, it made sense to call him Cage. So I love that. So it opens up with, you know, this major talking to this 4-star general. There's no one else in the room, and it just seems a little bit like no. I mean, I like the idea that he gets there and then it's just something entirely unexpected and it's way worse, and he's like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? But just, I don't see a major talking to a 4-star general like that. We move on past that, and then boom, we start the movie. The Mockingay's weapon of choice is that melee, like, sword thing. Well, it's actually a helicopter blade, and that's just not a great weapon. So as soon as we start, he's right there storming the beach, and you see 3 very distinct landing craft. That's the US LCAC hovercraft, the Albion class landing platform dock. That's kind of a larger ship, and then the Russian Zubers, or Zuber. That thing looks terrifying. Could you just imagine that coming at you from the beach? Oh my gosh. So this movie is actually supposed to take place in 2020, but I mean, I don't really see us coming out with those exoskeletons. I mean, I guess we definitely would if there was an alien invasion, but I mean, the exoskeleton does exist, like I said, but it's just not something that's gonna be widespread. They talk about how little training you need, and I think it's funny because they talk about that because Rita kicks ass with very little training, but it's because she was in cycles. So she kicked so much alien ass in one day because she knew what that day was gonna look like. I think a lot more training than what they say is needed because, I mean, look at Tom Cruise, jeez. Anyways, the whole thing takes place at Heathrow Airport, essentially, so that's kind of fun. Tom Cruise has a super sloppy hat, but most of the uniform that you see in there isn't really coherent to one military code. They talk about the general being from one military and Tom Cruise being from the US military, but he talked to his commander. But I mean, Tom Cruise just looks like a fucking dirtbag, so that sucks. I was like, why is that guy representing the US? I mean, by the end of it, he's a badass. He's just like and flying shit, and I mean, he's done the same thing over and over. It kind of sucks for him. He never gets to sleep. If you don't pay attention to the news thing at the beginning, then you won't understand that the asteroid is what brought them there, and that asteroid clip was a real asteroid. That meteor clip, did I call it an asteroid through this whole thing? Oh my god. Anyways, that meteor that you see in the film, well, it was a real meteor. It didn't go to Germany, it went to Russia, so that they just used the same footage because that was amazing footage. J Squad is kind of the like goof troops of this movie, and they were the like rock'em sock'em guys, and they were alright. I loved that they tried to get him to like save somebody and then save somebody, and then he just like, by the end of it, he has to give up. That guy's just gonna die. They made the military almost seem like the replacements, the football team, you know? It just didn't seem like, it just didn't seem realistic. The military is not some lackadaisical like, oh, we're gonna send you into here because they'll straighten you right out. That's not how, no. I mean, they're gonna straighten you out in some way, but it's not gonna be by like putting them with the ragtag misfits. That just didn't, I don't know, it didn't hold it for me, but I understood why they needed them, because they needed that team to be there for the, you know, comeback at the end, but they were just fodder really, and they didn't really hold a lot of weight. It did give the story a lot of loops to be able to say, like, you know, Tom Cruise had a leg up on all of the people that he was there with, because he just knew everything about them. So that was kind of, it was interesting to see how they like looped time back around. But I thought this movie was really fun to watch, but it didn't really give me like a real sense of what the future would be. It did give me an idea of, you know, those exosuits could actually exist, and you could have like special forces that just have exosuits. You know, Rita's whole unit, that special force that they're all in black and they just look a little bit more badass than the other people in exosuits. Well, I actually could see that being the case. You could just have these elite, super fit, fucking crazy ass human beings that have exosuits on top of it, and they train for days, months, years with these exosuits and actually do become like an enhanced version of a human with an exosuit. But I didn't think that this necessarily portrayed that. Maybe it did. Maybe this is what actually having an exosuit as a military member would be like. You know, he's all running around. I mean, maybe that was how it would be, but I don't really know. What do you think? How do you think an exosuit would, you know, be in the military? Would you have joined if you had to wear an exosuit, if you knew that that was going to be a thing? Because that's what he was selling at the beginning. So he was selling it for everybody, and then he had to go put it on. So that's kind of funny, the irony of that, right? The symbolism is really mostly in the, you know, naming of things, and it's shout outs to history, whether it's World War I, World War II, graphic novel, had a lot of resources to pull from. Tom Cruise, you know, Emily Blunt, amazing cast, that guy from Twister's in it. So you couldn't really go wrong with this movie. It's not gonna give you a better understanding of what, you know, the future or the past is. It's just gonna be entertaining for, you know, almost 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed this movie breakdown. Let me know what movie that you think I should do next. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. My name's Scott. You're watching Regular Veteran. I'll see you on the internet.